Well, hello, beautiful ladies. Again, thank you for tuning in on the Language of Beauty show. So, today I have a wonderful woman. She is absolutely amazing. She is a powerhouse. She is just filled with this energy and this knowledge and this beauty that is absolutely marvelous. I am so honored to give a cordial welcome to the show to my dear Solara Rose. Welcome to the Language of Beauty show. It's so good to have you, and it's so good to share this 30 minutes with you.
Yes, I'm honored to be here. I really appreciate you inviting me on. I'm very excited to see what magic wants to flow through each of us today and to share it with our communities. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
Yes, for sure. It's going to be magical and filled with so much knowledge and so many nuggets to take in and savor so deliciously. So, let me tell you who she is. She is a liquid radiance in human form. She has the rare ability to entrance whip smart, spiritually adept, and high achieving magical people into reaching high altering levels that even they were unable to fully embrace as possible for themselves or believe they were capable of. One timeless, immaculate moment in Solara's field inevitably leads to the most extraordinary, luxurious thing an individual can experience in a lifetime: divine identity, mastery within a brave, brand new world, all of their own making. Her clients step away from her miracle matrix fully expressed in genius, dripping in success, exquisitely powered to share their beauty, brilliance, and gifts with the world. She is all about inspiring others and unlocking peak power, beauty, and creative brilliance. How amazing is that? Like, my goodness, I already want to be like, tell me more, tell me more. I don't know how you feel about that, you ladies, but she is like, ooh, so wonderful.
Aw.
So, Solara, tell us about what does it mean to embody courage? Because sometimes we talk about being courageous and having courage to take a step, to create something, to pursue a career. But what does it really mean to be courageous and to embody that word?
Well, I can share what that resonates as for me in my experience and the way that I experience it in connection to the larger source that I am, that we all are. And so when I even look at the word encourage, means to literally live in courage and the energy of, yes, all things are possible for me. I'm a limitless being. Whatever I do, the whole cosmos are behind me, with me, next to me, supporting me. And so all of my energy is coherent and online with the direction that I'm moving in. So I'm literally moving in a field of absolute trust in all that is. It's so far beyond just the courage that I could muster within my own being, but just feeling into the expanse of the divinity and the love and the abundance that is available to us each in all moments, and knowing that the source of that, the highest expression of who and what we all are, is there for us unconditionally, providing for us. And to live in trust, in connection to that energy in each moment, and to just know that no matter what we go for, no matter what we decide we want to create or build or design or expand into, all of life is a yes for us. So living in that field of pure trust. And it's just such a, and trust in our nature, trust in our intuition, trust in ourself and our guidance and in all of this.
That is so beautiful, what you're saying, to trust in ourselves, because we see out there so many things, and for some reason we focus on what's not possible instead of the other way around. Like, what could be possible in this field of opportunities, of things available for us, of this abundance? Now, like, that trust, that trusting in ourselves, does it have like a beginning for that, or is it a process, or how can you tap into that, really trusting yourself and trusting a process, or trusting the universe, if you want to call it that way, that things will work out for you?
Yeah. So You know, one, it's really about listening to ourselves first and foremost, tapping in and becoming intimate with the voice of our own heart, our own soul, our own intuition, and our own body, the wisdom, the powerful wisdom that our body has to share with us. And then also trusting in the inherent perfection that underlies all things. So no matter how things may appear to be going in our external world, there's always that absolute highest dimensional reality and timeline that pervades all things, and it's accessible in every moment. So the mind is sometimes used to grabbing a hold of things and going, well, that, you know, we give it a meaning that might not be fully aligned to the true gold and the beauty that it is, and the credit and the love that it deserves. And so we have this, you know, and that's, a lot of us have collected that through our lineage, through cultural and societal conditioning and all of this. And so it's just about becoming intimate with the voice of our higher self, our source self, that genius, that divinity that lives within us, and knowing that voice so well. And so anything that we receive, we can go, I'm receiving this for a reason. I trust it, no matter how it looks, if it's completely illogical, if it doesn't make any sense at all, it's totally nonlinear, but I'm receiving it, and I'm receiving it for a reason. So I'm going to trust myself. And so then that's a muscle that we build through time. We just continue. You know, when I'm supporting people with sharpening their psychic intuitive gifts, the first thing is practice tuning into your body wisdom, and then trust every single thing that you receive. So no matter what it is, just remind yourself it's coming through. I trust it. I trust myself. I trust my senses. I trust my feelings. I trust. And to keep doing that over and over and over again until that skill becomes so refined. We become masters of reading and perceiving energetics. And when we have our pillar as pure truth and the pure love that we all are, then it's really easy to discern things. And if something's not fully resonating with that, we can easily just go, okay, that's a place and space where either within myself or within the world, more of that frequency of love is needed. So that even getting up under all of that, instead of dismissing it or separating from it, but really just embracing it and going, oh, okay, this is something that needs, to feel that love, to know that love. And I get to be someone who introduces it.
Yes. So it becomes kind of like a mantra, like I trust myself, and I trust the process. I trust my gifts. I trust the voice that I'm listening in my heart, because sometimes it's just like a whisper. And when we finally realize what it is, we're like, it has been there all the time. Like I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. So I have heard that you tie this to your magical child, or that inner child that you have in your heart. So how can we embody that magical child now as grown-ups?
Yes. Oh, yes. So it's really fun because it's an energy of innocence, but not naivety, because we've all been through our own fires in the world, and we've collected our wisdom and our jewel drops of insight and knowledge all along the way. And so, but the frequency, so, you know, it's like being a parent. This is one of the best ways that I can convey this energy, because we're still doing life. We're still creating, we're still expanding, we're still growing, but we can engage with the process like we would with a child or an animal. You know, there's just such a level of pure love and care and lightness and freedom around that frequency. So when we're manifesting anything, the most powerful place to manifest from is from the high heart. So it's this, and that frequency uniquely for each of us is where we are when we're just in pure joy or pure love with a child. So we can start to access that highest level resonance in our own being and become acquainted with it. And then it allows us to release the weights of, you know, all these identities around who we think we need to be or how we need to show up, or, you know, it needs to be tough, or we need to exert some kind of authority, that we just get to be our natural self and our natural heart. And it releases so much weight and density from our experience. Then we actually just get to enjoy it.
Yes. And what I'm seeing is like just being like a child, you know, just going with it, and enjoying the moment, and playing, and exploring, and enjoying every moment and every single thing that is in front of you. Now, with these modern times in which we are like in a little box of this is the way it has to be, I gotta work 9 to 5, or I gotta do this, I gotta do that, is there, how can we find that space to really tap into our genius, or find our genius and bring it, like fully embody it, and live out of that full expression of our genius?
Yeah. So our genius is, you know, and it expresses uniquely through each of us, but it's pure, prolific, life-giving, loving, abundant, harmonious intelligence. So when we find inner harmony, so the first thing of getting a vision is for all the fabulous women out there, especially those of you who are running a business and you have children, the superheroes and the super women of the world, to intentionally carve out spaces in your day, whether it's in the morning before you kind of jet set off for the day, or when you return, where you are just, and this will bring in that beautiful silk thread of sensuality, where it's like you've got your own space, you've got either your singing bowls, your crystals, or your sensual music, or your candles, your essential oils, your journal, whatever it is that literally turns you on and ignites you and helps you to relax and release and let go, and going into spaces of deep connection with the body, and then also creating inner space and inner stillness to really listen to ourselves. So entering spaces of pure silence and pure sensuality, where we're letting go and we're kind of like melting into the feather bed, like being caught by the golden hands and grace of all that is, and we just get to be there, and we let our creation feed us grapes. Like, I'm just going to luxuriate right now, and I'm going to listen to music, and I'm going to tune into my body, and this is my space, and I'm doing this for me because I know I need to do it, so that when it is time for me to show up for the rest of the world, I can do it at my highest capacity. So really being intentional about giving that to ourselves is so foundational and primary, and it can be very easy when we have big hearts to get wrapped up in the whole being everything to everyone and leaving ourselves out of that equation. So we've got to put our own health and flourishing and well-being as a primary objective in our experience, so that we actually can be truly generous with others.
Yes, that sounds so delicious. Like, I want to have that like every day. But now, those of you watching or listening might be thinking, oh, that sounds great, but at what time am I going to do that? And at what time am I going to really carve out that space? Because it sounds like hours and hours, but what I'm feeling is that it could even be just minutes.
Yeah, it could
And
be 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes before you go to bed at night, and that unto itself would make a profound difference.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, do you have any rituals, or do you have any techniques that you apply every day, or that you have made something constant that in the long term really makes a difference in terms of tapping into your inner wisdom, your inner truth, and yeah, just being yourself, and just letting that sensuality come in and to flourish?
Yes. So all of the things that I just mentioned in some different variation or form on a daily basis, but at this point, particularly because there's so much of the work that I do in the world, my entire life is a ritual, is a ceremony, is a celebration, is an art. And so I move through my days with the integration of all of those things, spending time with gorgeous, brilliant humans like you, and having
Oh, lucky.
just, you know, like delicious conversations and all of this. And but the primary ones, so this is, you know, I always bring through breath work and breathing, because no matter what we have going on, and I understand, because I've been through all these different chapters in my own journey, we get to those places and spaces where we're burnt out, we're overwhelmed, we can't breathe anymore. We just feel so full, and
Yeah.
there's so much stress and tension in our body. So remembering to return to the breath always, because no matter what's going on, that's a primary access point. Remembering to tune into our higher self, which ultimately is us, but to have that dialogue open too in the moments where we need support, asking for what we need. And I do energetic activations every day where I literally, at a multidimensional, extraordinarily expanded capacity, go through all of my energetic bodies and systems and infuse myself with light intelligence, and I connect purely to that. So I would just call it source intelligence, cosmic intelligence. And I'm so intimate with what that is. And I bathe in it and I luxuriate in it. And I have an intimate relationship and dialogue with it. And so that's another huge thing. And of course, movement and nourishment in my body. So everything that I do is natural, rooted into Mother Gaia, all things from the earth. Everything that I take in, whether it be sound or food or makeup or any of it, is all natural and holistic. And I'm just very aware of what I'm coating myself with because I want to feel how I know I can feel in all moments. And so those are some of, so returning to the breath, deep breathing. So as a just a quick exercise, whatever you're doing, you could take 30 whole body breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, like whole body. And then particularly for women, relaxing all the way into the womb, because sometimes we build up tension and it gets, it's all congested in our head space and our shoulders and our back and our neck. If we remember to breathe and drop into the womb space, which is the seat of letting go, we start to let go of a lot of that tension in our body, and our system starts to harmonize back to its natural state of health and flourishing and expansion. And just having fun, remembering to have fun and to play and to do what we truly want. We are here as, I'm just going to go for it, gods in this human experience, incarnated on this earth. And we came here to have fun and to play and to enjoy the sensual pleasures and the novelties and all of this. And so whatever it is that we need to do to give ourselves to create our highest aligned life, starting to tune into that, becoming intimate with our desires and making those movements in our daily experience so that we can actualize our own personal paradise, whatever that may be for us uniquely.
Yes. And now something that you were mentioning, like how you nourish yourself, it's not only food, but like even sounds or even music,
Yes.
like the music that you listen to, the music that you enjoy, and depending on what you're doing. So this really stood up for me, because it's like, oh, delicious, like what type of music am I really allowing myself to listen to, and the things that I surround myself with, so that beauty that sometimes is not even like material things or what we have at home, but it's more of like intangibles per se.
Yes. I mean, I think that's really what true, it's our nature. It's really the nature of our own love, and the love that we give to ourselves, and the love that we connect into in our own heart, and that we share with others and with the world. And everything else becomes a reflection of that beauty. But the authentic and pure love at the core of our heart, I think, is the primary point of generation for all true beauty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now let's talk about how you attract that relationship or that next client, the ideal relationship, the ideal everything that at the end becomes like your ideal life. What you were saying, like what you truly desire and what you truly want and find pleasure in. So let's talk about that magnetism or that attraction for things that you think of or you desire, and to let that space like really open to receive all of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, light is an attractive force. It's a magnetic force. So filling ourselves with light and life and vitality and energy and flowing that then into the world. So we fill with light and we express our light. We fill with light and we give our light. We allow our light and we, so it's an infinity loop of, we allow ourselves to receive it and then we express it out and then it must return into us, and we keep that flow open. And on a more expansive level, I mean, we in connection to everything is us. So we are the ones who decide whether or not we're going to allow ourselves to have our own desire. And so it's opening up to, instead of placing that power outside of ourselves, going, you know what, I am a creator incarnate in a body, and I deserve to experience the fullness of life and thriving and joy and pleasure and all of this. And so opening and allowing ourselves to gift ourselves
Oh
our
yeah,
own,
that's a good one.
our, yeah. And so it's really about our beliefs, you know, it's what we will allow ourselves to have is really what it comes down to, because there's no one and nothing else that's deciding. You are already, you know, it's fascinating to me because concepts like worth and value, to me, it's so inherent in what we all are as the one energy expressing. It's just, you are that already, and it's never been in question. And so just shifting into the place of ownership and claiming that fully, I am that, and so I deserve to experience all that I uniquely desire to experience, and so I'm just going to let myself have that.
Yes, yes, yes. It sounds so rich and beautiful because it's like getting out of our own way, really. Because sometimes we fall in this victimhood, like, oh, because of this, because of that, because of that person, only if such and such, then I would have, what I want. And really, you mentioned something very powerful, and it's like that ownership and that claiming that I truly deserve, or I truly have like the right or the power to attain whatever it is that I desire.
Yes.
It's truly like a combination of belief and trust and doing the work, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Doing the work.
like quantum empowerment, just in the moment, claiming ourselves as what we truly are,
Yeah.
taking the throne on the seat of our own destiny, and just deciding for ourselves fully and powerfully, this is what I want, and now I'm going to do something about it. And that is what will give us even more power and connection to ourselves, and fulfillment is actually being the creator of our experience. And of course, there's all the magical elements too, you know, because things can come to us from so many different other beautiful parts of our creation, but there's such a depth of fulfillment in being the one who also gets to create and design and express and all of that. And so it's a beautiful dance and a weave, really, between, you know, it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine being the magnetic and the masculine being the electric expressive. So it's like right now I'm going to nourish and receive, and now I'm just going to express because it feels so good to give and to share and to pour from my overfill into the world. And so, you know, being in the fullness of what it is to be a creator.
Yes, yes. Now the relationship between giving and that abundance, because sometimes we feel like, oh, if I give too much, then I don't have anything. If I give too much, then I'm gonna run out. So it's this scarcity mindset of there's never enough, and like trying to catch up. So let's talk about abundance and flow of abundance in all the sense of the word and everything. It's not only money, but everything.
Yes, there is a limitless divine cosmic energy, power, life force, energy, abundance available to us. It's an inexhaustible storehouse of not only energy, but the ways that that energy can be constructed into form on our behalf. It's truly infinite. There is no end to it whatsoever. So it's constantly accessible. It's constantly available. So we open ourselves up to the knowing that it is not finite. And we tend to think that resources are somehow finite, and then we cinch off our own flow. But when we really connect into the pure, prolific channel of what is real and what is true, that we're in literally nature herself is fertile. She is continuously generating and renewing and creating abundance on so many levels, and we have access to that power and that energy in all moments. And the more that we allow our own flow of that energy to move through us, the more we will experience that prosperity in all dimensional facets of our life. I like just like the vortex of love. It really shows up in abundance in all areas. So one of the key components is connecting into the knowingness that that supply is infinite and non-ending, and that energy is always there accessible to us. And we just open our vessel, literally our physical body, to receive more of our own power flow. And then we don't inhibit it, we let it flow. So the more we allow that energy to move through us and course through us, then the more we will receive and experience and yeah, in our reality.
Yeah, and it sounds healing as well. What comes to me is just like sometimes we feel this ailment or pain or like, oh, my back, oh, this, and we're so like stressed out. And sometimes it's not even that we're sick or anything. It's not that we have something physical, but it's the manifestation of what we're living, or I guess is like blocked energy in certain parts of our body. So is there anything that you would say to the ladies, like, oh, if you feel, I don't know, in your back, in your neck or something, that we could really pay attention to, like pinpoint,
Yes.
okay, that might be your relationships, or that might be, I don't know, your income or your work, or is there anything like parts of the body that you would say there's blockage and then it's related to something that's going on in your life?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true for all the different parts of the body. And that would be something that I would need to intuitively identify within an individual, depending on their unique
Mhm.
situation. However, when we, first of all, listening to our body. So what is our body telling us? What is it saying that it needs? And the moment that we harmonize to what our body needs, the more that we immediately liberate the flow in all areas of our life, because we are connected through a unified field of energy. So if we're resisting ourselves and we're going against our natural rhythm and our natural current, and we're creating stress and tension and resistance in our physical body, we automatically cinch off our flow in all other areas. So the moment, whether it does, where it seems logical or not, so this is a huge one too, because the mind will come in and start giving all these reasons for why we can't give this to ourselves.
Yeah.
I've been through it. I've been through the fire, and I learned this in some very pressing situations.
Yeah.
So the moment that we literally let go, we go, okay, right now, what I actually need is, and a lot of people in our beautiful sacred world need recovery, like a significant amount of recovery to harmonize and reharmonize their nervous system before they can really get going again from a healthy place. And so giving ourselves that harmony, that rest, that relaxation. So it's let go to open the flow. So the moment we let go and we relax and we melt and we just let all of that stress and resistance come off, we'll start to see things open up
Mm.
immediately. So it's a relaxation, it's non-resistance. So what we normally do, because of how we've been conditioned in a lot of cases, is my body is she's telling me, she's screaming at me, I need this, give this to me. And I'm ignoring it to go in this direction because I think, fill in the blank with a reason. And so that compounds it and it compounds it. So if we just go, wait a minute, actually what I need right now is this. And because I love myself, I'm going to give it to myself. And so we do that. And then we immediately start to liberate the energy in all areas. And when we see the profound magic of what it is to align with our own truth and our own body wisdom and what we uniquely desire and feel called to from moment to moment to moment, we're like, wow, why was I in resistance to myself that whole time?
Yeah.
Trying to get the thing that I was being in resistance to myself in order to attain, because I thought that's what I had to do to get the thing.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, all I actually had to do was harmonize with what was really true for me in the moment. So being honest with ourselves about, what is happening in our body, what do we need truly, and then, giving that to ourselves. So starting to release resistance from our field bit by bit, little bit by little bit, and getting pro at it.
Yes, I love that, becoming pro at it. And I can relate to that. Sometimes I my body is saying sleep like 12 hours, I don't know, 10 hours. But then our minds are like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. You have a long to-do list and you only have a certain amount of time. Again, scarcity, time scarcity. So it's like we fall into this do, and long or never ending to-do lists. And then we constrain our bodies from sleeping, or just like being sitting there having tea without thinking about anything. So
Yeah.
it's very uh personally, I would say it's challenging at the beginning, but then when
Yeah.
you truly do it, it's like you said, magic happens and it starts unfolding. So
Yeah. Yeah.
without
And, yeah, same. I have empathy for wherever we each are on our own journey, because I understand what it really is to go from like the depths of struggle and hardship to have the understanding and the wisdom that I have now, and also what that journey is like. So no matter where we are, remembering to give ourselves love, to really root into our heart space, into we literally mother and nourish our own selves in that way. What would I want for my child?
yeah,
And to give that to ourselves, because our bodies are these gorgeous, precious, sacred vessels that we get to experience the magic of life through. And so we've really got to nourish them. And then, when we're feeling our best, all the actual action that arises is from pure inspiration and the joy of living itself. And that's really the place where we want to be coming from. And that is accessible to us to access on an ongoing basis, and to shift into that way of being and doing and living
yes.
again.
That is so good. It's so good to live in that state of unlimited resources, unlimited everything, and having access at all times, like you were mentioning before, like at all times. It's not like it has to be a certain day, a certain time, and in a certain way, but really truly believing that you can receive and allowing
Yes.
yourself to do that. That is so beautiful. Now,
Mm.
what does the language of beauty mean to you?
Mm. To me, well, it's the language of love. It's really just true harmony, harmony with the real love, the real substantial love that we all know to be true in our hearts. To me, that is the most pure language and expression of beauty, and it is a language of harmony. And so, returning to harmony within ourselves, within our experience and our relationships, which is with everything in life, truly, with our bodies, with nature, all of that. And from that, this grand symphony, pure beauty unweaves itself and unfolds itself and moves through us, and we weave it and we create it, in all of the gorgeous forms.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, I know that you have a gift for all the ladies who are watching us or listening to us. You
Yeah.
want to tell us a little bit about that gift?
Yeah, so all of the energetics that we've been talking about, I have a gorgeous diamond DNA prosperity activation that is accessible right on my website. If you go to solararose.com, there will be a little pop-up, or you can scroll to the bottom of the homepage and there will be a place to enter your email address, and I will send you that activation and a warm welcome to our community. And so that is something beautiful to melt into, and actually would be a beautiful ritual for all the ladies who are, how am I going to carve this in and
Yes.
activate all of this? That is a beautiful foundational starting piece. And I also love to provide, because it's so thorough and comprehensive, and it also just gives rise to, well, one, it activates the DNA, so it'll start to activate your genius and your own gifts, but it gives people ideas for how they can self-activate too, because with those, we all, our brain and our reality, our body, our mind, our everything does exactly what we tell it to do. And so when we get used to speaking the language of love, and we start to have this beautiful dance of co-creation where we're utilizing our words to really activate and speak new realities into existence, these activations are, I just, love for them to be a source of inspiration for others around, oh, I could activate that in my reality, or I could activate this, or just have whole new revelations come online entirely for, because often we're trying to figure out how to do it instead of just asking for it, or just gracefully commanding it into being, and just being specific about not what do I need to do to get it, but this is what I want. And so this is what I'm going to decide that I'm going to have. And I'm just going to ask for it. And I'm going to give epic thanks and praise and gratitude right now to my life, to my reality, and to all the beautiful beings who are part of that manifestation, and myself and all that is. So it's beautiful for yeah, to tune into daily to get all kinds of activations, and also to inspire ideas for how we can each self-activate in our own experience.
That is so beautiful and valuable. What you were saying too, that it's not. We often think like, how can I get this? But how do I do it? But how do and just command it, just demand for it, ask for
Yeah.
it, and it will just
Uh-huh.
come somehow. And
Yeah.
that's so beautiful, so magical. Yeah. So grab
Yeah.
that gift for sure.
Uh-huh.
It's
And
gonna
wrap it in love.
be
I gotta put this one out there, because wrap it in love, because no matter, I mean, so we're talking to ourselves. How would you want, so
yeah.
that's a beautiful way to, how do we engage for the highest level manifestations? It's like, kind of, how would we want to interact with ourselves? And so, coming from that space, and this is again the connection into the high heart, being playful and loving and all of that with our reality. Yeah, super accelerates it.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to grab one for myself as well.
Oh,
For sure.
beautiful.
For sure. Yes. So, Laura, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the Language of Beauty show. And
Mm.
I know that all of you ladies are now thinking the list of the things that you're going to be asking for with so much love and from the deepest part of your heart. So grab that gift with love, just like Solara was saying, and tell me about it. I want to know everything that unfolds from now on, and let us know what's coming up. Would love to hear. Thank you so much, Solara, for being with us. Thank you for
Oh,
your time. It has been amazing to have you on the show. And thank you, ladies, for tuning in. And I'll see you next time.
so much love. Mwah.